Hello, guys, and welcome back to another week of streams. So we have very, very good news from the general markets. We see that Bitcoin is 10th time, 10th time's a charm. I think that's the way to put it. But we have a green candle on the weekly, which is very important. What's your take on that, AJ?
Yeah, it's we've been waiting for this for ages. 9 weeks of just pure downwards pressure. 9 weeks of red candles. This green candle has just, we've been waiting for this, and I'm happy I've seen this. And this, it's actually a bullish candle that we've seen that I'll get onto in a moment. So hopefully we can start seeing that relief bounce that we have been waiting for 9 weeks now. So yeah,
so long.
it
Absolutely.
has,
Yeah, so we're going to jump into that because that's what we really want, isn't it? We want to know what's going on with Bitcoin. So we'll jump into that, and then we've got a little bit of news afterwards so that we can go through and let you know what to look out for the rest of the week. So stay tuned for all of this to come. But let's start with the technicals.
Yeah, so just quickly, as I said, we finally, let me just get my pen out. There we go. We finally had that green candle. And if we zoom in a little bit, just take a closer look at this candle, you can see that we have a pretty substantial wick to the upside, and then we have a small sort of body, and this does actually form a pretty bullish candle. Now, this bullish candle, I did post this over on Twitter. I said, Bitcoin's weekly candle just closed in the green. We haven't seen a green candle for 9 straight weeks on the weekly time frame. Bitcoin has also formed an inverse hammer candle. Could this be the start of the relief bounce that we have been waiting for? So, if you don't follow us on Twitter, make sure you do follow us on Twitter so you get all this information as soon as I find it out. But we have formed this inverse hammer candle, and this is in fact a pretty bullish candle. As you can see so far, we have seen a pretty nice bounce as of this morning after we have formed this candle. It's been around a 5% move this morning, so hopefully it's been a good start to the week. So hopefully we can continue this throughout the rest of the week. But I just want to bring your attention to the last time that we did form this inverse hammer candle. And the last time we did form this inverse hammer candle was the 28th of February. And this was, we had a bit of a bigger wick here, but nonetheless, it was an inverse hammer candle. And, this after we saw this candle, we saw, around a 25, 26% move towards the upside. If we saw that same move to the upside, a 25, 26% move to the upside, that could take us all the way back up to this resistance level, which I've been talking about for a while now. I would love to, see Bitcoin back up, testing this resistance level, because then, we can get that lower high that I've been wanting, so that we can get through that lower high, so that we can, that I can flip bullish again. Because as of right now, we are the current lower high is sat at around $47,000. For me to flip bullish, we have to break that. So if we can form another lower high, and then maybe get a slight pullback, and then break that lower high at, say around $38,000, then I can flip bullish from $38,000 instead of, $47,000. So we want to form that lower high. But what I'm, saying now, and what I'm anticipating now, is the price of Bitcoin to come up and test this resistance level, maybe between the $35,000 to $38,000 level. And I do have some sort of on-chain stuff that confirms this a little bit more for me, and also confirms this major support level that I've been talking about for a while now. And you can see it on the weekly. It's also a lot clearer on the daily chart. I'll just have a look at the daily chart here. The amount of support we've had along this level is
constantly bouncing off as well, that's really what you want to see, isn't it? Those kind of that little, like those wicks where that there's lots of volume at those levels.
Exactly, yeah, and that's what we want to see now. I know that we've been trading within this support level for a while now. We do just want to see that bounce. We've just been waiting for that bounce, to then take us back up to this resistance level. But what I said was this this on-chain stuff that I have, that confirms the support level, but also confirms to me that we could be seeing that 35 to $37,000 Bitcoin, and that is what I also posted on Twitter this morning here. So if you don't follow us on Twitter, make sure you click the link below and follow us on Twitter. But basically, what this tells us is how much money is coming in and out of Bitcoin at certain prices. So starting off, I just want to show you. So this big green dot here, this shows the amount of Bitcoin that's being accumulated between $29,500 approximately and $30,400, and the amount that's being accumulated at this point is 966,000 Bitcoin. So there's a lot of Bitcoin being accumulated around those levels, and again between the $30,400 level and $31,400 level approximately, there is around over 400,000 Bitcoin being accumulated at those levels. So between the $29,500 level and $31,400 level, there is around 1.4 million Bitcoin being accumulated at those levels, and that just that solidifies this support level for me, because there's so much accumulation within this major support level. But what I want to bring your attention to is actually that there isn't much resistance coming between this major support level and this resistance up here that I'm anticipating the price to come to. Because if we have a look at the resistance, the selling volume, there isn't much. So between 31,400 and 32,400 approximately, there is around 220,000 Bitcoin being pulled out of Bitcoin. And between 32,400 and 33,300, there's 100k, 33,300 and 34,000.
I like this, AJ, because I think this is giving us just a very good idea of when people are, if they're going to capitulate. But like that, for example, these guys, they would be selling at like a loss.
Yeah.
Bring us back onto that technical side of thing, just quickly.
Yes, on the chart. So
yeah.
Basically, the point that I'm trying to get to is that there isn't much selling volume at all compared to the buying volume between this major support level here. So there isn't much selling volume between this support level and this resistance level, which brings me to believe that if we do bounce off of this level, there is a pretty high chance that we will come up to this resistance level. Whether we break that resistance level or not, I'm unsure as of right now. There's multiple scenarios that could play out. When we do get there, if we do get there, then I'll start talking about what can happen from there. But as I said, there's not much selling volume in this area here, so I am anticipating the price to come up and test that resistance level if we do see this nice bounce. So far, we started off the week great. Hopefully we can continue this bullish price action to the upside. And just quickly to confirm this price, to confirm that we are going to see more price action towards the upside, I would like to hold this level here. We found lots of resistance at this level here. If we can hold it, it'll be great. We haven't managed to hold it last time. We did break it, but if we can hold it, that would be great. We are forming a new range as well. I've drawn this resistance level in here. As you can see, we've had lots of resistance at this level. Again, we've got the support level down here. We are forming this bigger range. So it would be nice if we could break this range as well, which sits between the $32,000 level and the $32,400 level approximately. So hopefully we can come back up, test this resistance and break that, find support along there, and then we can have some more price action towards the upside, which will hopefully take us all the way up to that resistance at the top of this falling wedge I've been talking about for a while now.
Yeah, and to be honest, I'd quite like us to just kind of sit and go sideways for a little bit, Like I want to see more people accumulating. I know it's going to take a bit of time, and I've got news as to what I think is going to be going on in the future. But just kind of, I'll show you this now. So what you're seeing on the screen right now is Bitcoin wallet sizes with more than one Bitcoin. And this kind of leads to what you were saying, AJ, in terms of how we're seeing people actually just accumulating Bitcoin. You know, when we have these, I guess, these little, you know, crashes, you know, you're seeing this really steep, as the price is falling, more and more people are actually kind of buying Bitcoin. And I know we had a discussion a couple of weeks ago about whether it was the whales or whether it was the smaller guys. But I think, you know, the smaller investors, and we'll call them the retail, as opposed to the big institutions or businesses or, you know, seriously early adopters who could buy Bitcoin for, you know, let's say less than $10. But
Yeah.
you know, it shows a really strong level of faith in those smaller investors. You know, people like you and I.
Yeah.
You know, who kind of want to own a full Bitcoin, and it's kind of quite a serious, you know, status symbol.
It is.
And it's really good to see that this is increasing the number of wallets holding one Bitcoin as the price is kind of sitting pretty flat.
Yeah, as you said, you know, it is a really serious, you know, status symbol having, you know, that one Bitcoin. Even just, you know, having that one Bitcoin. I know for a lot of people it is a lot, but just having that one Bitcoin. I posted on Twitter I think it was yesterday. There is around 50, I can't remember the exact number. I think it was 51, 53 million, you know, millionaires globally, and there's only 21 million Bitcoin. So if you can, you know, hold as much Bitcoin as possible, you are going to have in the future have a, you know, higher status as most of these, you know, millionaires, because some of them, you know, aren't going to be able to have that ability to buy that, you know, Bitcoin in the future, because it will be owned by everyone. You know, it will be owned by loads of retailers, and, you know, a lot of the big institutions are going to be buying it up. So they're going to be the ones missing out. So, you know, the best time to be buying is when the price is down, as it is now.
Exactly, and that's what we're seeing, which is fantastic. And now I want to jump onto two bits of news. Firstly, I want to jump into Terra. So you know that I've been talking about Terra. I've been talking about USDD. So this is Tron's stablecoin, and it's exactly the same, pretty much a carbon copy as Luna. Now, we did have a statement from these. So I've said, you make your own opinion, do your own research, obviously, as always. But USDD, which launched on May the 5th, initially followed the blueprint of the algorithmic stablecoin with limited reserves. Now, we all know of UST. We don't really need to kind of, you know, trouble our brains too much to know exactly what happened there. So Tron says it now is over-collateralized. And this might be the thing that saves an algorithmic stablecoin. So it's over-collateralized the stablecoin with a reserve that includes over 14,000 Bitcoin. Following the Terra collapse, the total collapse of Terra algorithm, Tron this morning announced a plan to significantly increase the amount of capital backing up its own stablecoin. USDD, near carbon copy, as I said earlier, of UST, which arrived on the Tron blockchain. Now, let me get into this. So what is the reserve and what is over collateralized? Well, we'll break it down a little bit. So a reserve comprised of cryptocurrencies, and this is for the for USDD. So it has a reserve comprised of cryptocurrencies and other stable coins, has been amassed, and it will be maintained at a minimum of 130% of the total amount of USDD in issuance. Now, in theory, if there is a massive run on the supply and everyone wants to sell their USDD, everybody will be able to get their money back, plus the foundation will still have 30% of the total of what was in issuance when this happens, which is a good thing. So the reason why everybody was so worried about the whole Luna thing was they had around $3 billion in Bitcoin. I believe it was around three. I think they were buying, you know, continuously trying to buy more. But the whole point was there was $18 billion in circulation of USD. You know, that's called USTC now. This was UST. So last month, looking at the data, $18 billion, and this is when it was pegged. Again, see, it was pegged. Again, this is where it starts to fall, you know, and then obviously you can see here the market cap falls with it. But this was the market cap as we see last month. And yeah, you have to be able to have as much, if everybody wants their money back, you have to be able to give it to them. And that's kind of what we see here with Tron, with Justin Sun. So this could work quite well. Tron has described the collateral ratio as guaranteed and said it would begin publishing real-time updates on the collateral ratio on Tron DAO's reserve website from June 5th. So that was as of yesterday. So you guys can actually go and check that out on here if you want to go and have a look. But as things stand, this is where we want to see what the reserve contains right now. 10,500 Bitcoin, around 330 million, 240 million of USDT, so Tether, and 1.9 billion of Tron. Now, Tron is only worth like 8 cents. So that's actually not very much. I think I did it earlier and it's like 300 million, as well as 8.29 billion of TRX in a burning contract. Now, there's not really too much else to kind of go in here. I do want to mention this little gem, and this is the reason why I wanted to bring it up and I brought it up in the first place, is beware. So prior to its demise, holders of UST were able to park their stablecoin in Terra's lending platform Anchor protocol. Now, to earn interest, you can get as much as 20%, which many had flagged as unsustainable. Now, Tron has a similar platform named Just Lend. So if you do want to get a return from staking your USDD, you can use Just Lend. Currently, it offers an annual interest rate of 17.67%, but Sun hopes to drive that up to around 30%. Now, and that's where I had the worry, is that if everyone thinks that 20% is too high, why is Justin Sun saying he's going to do 30? And I have mentioned before in a previous video, if you haven't seen it, go back, have a look at that. And he does break it down. So he's going to say, look, you know, the first guys that get in, you can get up to 30%, but then we're going to have a cap on that. And then everybody else will get a different rate, but they don't know what that different rate is going to be. So I just wanted to give you a quick update on that from the USDD team. And finally, we're going to look into the kind of the next little bit of forecast. Last week, we know that generally the markets kind of took a big fall on Friday, and that was because of increased jobs. So essentially, there's just a lot of liquidity still kind of flying around. Next week, we're going to be looking at the major thing is the United States core inflation. This is what everybody's looking at. So core inflation and the actual, you know, the actual inflation, shall we say. And this is the consumer price index. You often hear CPI. So that's going to be a big thing for the end of the week. And finally, just want to touch on this. Tech and crypto are in peril as Fed ends liquidity binge. Now, this is what we call quantitative tightening. This is where the Fed begin to sell their $8.9 trillion worth of assets. So you can see that the era of ultra cheap money looks to be over for now. That's because they're raising the rates of borrowing. The Fed's balance sheet drawdown is seen lasting more than a year, while nearly 2/3 of survey respondents say that the 4-year bull run in treasuries has come to an end. We kind of hope so. But they did a survey. So this was from MLIV Pulse survey. They've said that 19.1% have said that crypto are most at risk. 27% said tech stocks are at risk. And now just to kind of add a little cherry onto this, draining money from the system tends to tighten financial conditions and all else equal, which acts as a brake on economic growth that can reduce valuations for tech stocks given their reliance on optimism about future profits. Now, to add into this, guys, this is just where I want to kind of throw in my own little flavor. Is what we're seeing is really an area where the whole economy is going to shrink, essentially. Now, with this, we're going to have less spending. So we're going to see companies that rely on advertising to really take a hit. So Google, Facebook, you know, all of these social media giants, these are all going to begin to shrink. And so I think that what we will see is during this period of quantitative tightening, we're going to have then less people investing into these tech stocks. And it might be that we have a bit of a recession. And if that happens, typically the dollar will weaken. And if the dollar weakens, I don't think the cryptos are going to be majorly at risk. I think a weaker dollar means a stronger Bitcoin. And we've seen that time and time again, you know, when AJ has gone through that. So
yeah.
unsure what to make of that article. Yes, I know quantitative tightening is bad. It's going to make the whole the whole economy go, and get a bit scared. So there's going to be less money in the stock market, in the investing world. But it could mean that a weaker dollar means a stronger Bitcoin, as we have typically seen. And we're going to bring that up just so you guys can see that here.
Yeah, we're seeing that very slightly at the moment as well. We're seeing a very slight rejection here. Not enough of a rejection, for it to be confirmed for me just as yet. But we are seeing, some green candles on the Bitcoin chart as well. So this, could be the start of that major move that I've been talking about for a while now. Every time we've been rejected at this resistance level, we have seen major moves in the Bitcoin chart. So if we can get a confirmed rejection, I'd like to see a bit of a bigger rejection like we have seen the past 2 times. We've got a pretty big rejection there and, pretty big rejections there. So if we can get a nice big rejection, then that will confirm for me that, we are most likely going to see that rejection on the DXY chart, and then potentially a massive move could be coming for Bitcoin. We do have to factor in though, the first time we did it, we did actually come and retest that level. So, we do just have to factor that bit in, that we can, retest it, and then maybe the rejection comes from there. But as of right now, we are looking quite good. I would just like to see a bit more of a rejection.
Yeah, and that's like a part of the reason why a lot of people are saying that we will see maybe a rally towards the end of the year, like the latter part. I'm personally in that camp. I think for now we've got a little bit of, I guess, just understanding exactly what the market wants to do, what the Fed are going to do, and see just how bad this quantitative tightening is. But I think a lot of it's priced in. I think probably around about September, October, we're going to begin to see a lot more clarity. And then finally, we'll be able to see that massive push in pretty much everything, I would say. Definitely for me in crypto.
Yeah, definitely. And like you said, it could be towards the end of the year because, these 2 moves, they did, in fact, take, almost a year to actually play out these major moves. So it could be towards the end of the year, maybe even the start of next year, that we actually do see, maybe those all-time highs again. But as of right now, it is still sort of unconfirmed. We just need to, break these resistance levels and hold these support levels.
Absolutely. Okay, well, look, thank you very much, guys. We will bid you a farewell. It was good to have you guys all here again. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to smash that like button and also subscribe to the channel if you want more content like this daily.
Thank you for watching.
Thank you very much, guys. Take care.